Hi guys, welcome back to Saturday Morning Cartooning, the show where we learn about cartoon characters from the past, the people that created them, and then we learn to draw them together. Today we're learning to draw a character that has been an inspiration to artists and animators since the 1980s, Studio Ghibli's My Neighbor Totoro. My Neighbor Totoro is a Japanese animated film from 1988 that became a cultural phenomenon and helped the success of director Hayao Miyazaki and the now famous Studio Ghibli in Japan. Japanese animation, sometimes referred to as Japanimation or simply anime, has a huge following around the world, and this movie helped make anime a more mainstream style of animation. My Neighbor Totoro is the story of two girls who moved to a new house with their father so that they could be closer to their mother, who is recovering from an illness in a nearby hospital. The two sad and lonely girls are surprised to learn that some friendly wood spirits live in the forest around their new house. They quickly become friends and go on many fun adventures. This simple story of friendship helped put Studio Ghibli on the map, and the character of Totoro is as iconic to Japanese children as Winnie the Pooh is to British and American children.
All right, let's draw My Neighbor Totoro. If you've never seen My Neighbor Totoro by Hayao Miyazaki, one of the best Japanese animated movies of all time. In fact, Hayao Miyazaki is considered the Walt Disney of Japan. So a lot of his characters have become iconic in Japan, and subsequently they've become iconic in America too. In fact, if you ever go to Barnes & Noble, you will see a couple of Totoros hanging out there. So let's draw some My Neighbor Totoro characters. Let's see. Well, he's basically, if we take a look at the drawing, he's basically just a giant pear shape. So we're going to do that first, and it's on a diagonal. So what we can do is we can just lightly sketch a diagonal line. That's what we're going to build the character on. And then just sketch on a big pear shape. And what's good is that this original diagonal line that we just drew is also going to double as the line for the umbrella. So first, before we draw on the umbrella, let's get his ears on. And he's got these pointy, almost like Pikachu ears. There's one there. And there's going to be one here. Alright. In between his ears, he's got a leaf on his head. Actually, you know what? I'm going to just move over this ear just a little bit. Just give us some more room for the leaf. And he's got a leaf on his head. And if you see the movie, that will make much more sense. Why he's got a leaf on his head. And also why he's carrying an umbrella. There's the leaf. The little top of the leaf right there. And then before we do anything else, let's just get the umbrella out of the way. The umbrella is, he uses it to fly. So it's going to be windswept. And it's actually going to be all wonky because of the wind. So we're going to draw one section here. It sort of looks like this. In fact, part of my umbrella is going to get cut off by the paper. As that happens sometimes. As that happens a lot of times to me. And that's okay. Alright, and then we're going to draw these, the underside of the umbrella. Okay. This, like I said before, that original diagonal line is going to act as the handle for the umbrella that goes right in front of Totoro's face, to right about there. Alright, so you just thicken that original line. And then before we do anything else, let's figure out where his arms and legs are going to go. One arm, almost like a flipper shape, is going to go over the body, and then the other one is going to go out away from the body. So this one here it's as if you just drew like a little flipper shape right inside. And the other one is going to go straight out this way. Alright? And when I say feet, we don't really even see feet on him. He's just got these little toes right there. So we can just put 3 little toes, little claws, on either side of that original diagonal. One, 2, 3. Alright, we could be a little bit more detailed later on. But let's give him some fingers. Again, instead of fingers, he's got these long claws. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just coming off the tip of that flipper shape. And he's got 1, 2, 3, 4 here, plus 2 little ones on the inside of the flipper. We don't see that because we don't see the inside of the flipper on this side. Alright, let's draw on. He's got this very wide mouth grin. So just a straight line that's perpendicular, meaning it's going in the complete opposite direction of the umbrella line. So then just attach it with a curved line on the bottom, and we could add on some teeth. He's got very basic circle eyes. Again, use this diagonal line as your guide. And he's got a nose in between. He's got a very wide nose. Right? He's got pupils that are right in the center of those circle eyes. And we're going to be inking those in later. And he also has whiskers, but I'm going to draw those in directly with marker at the end. He does have some texture to him. He's not just a smooth pear shape. We're going to get down this way, and once we get past the head, then we're going to add some texture because he's covered in fur. So all you have to do is just make a couple of zigzags like this. It's very subtle. Same thing on the flippers, but not as many. Okay. The head area, here on the sides of his face, those stay smooth, but everything else is a little bit textured, a little bit fuzzy. Alright, and he has this giant... Actually, before we do that, let's put the handle of the umbrella on. So he's holding on to the handle of the umbrella, and I think we've all seen an umbrella handle. It looks like a letter J. In this case, it's a backwards letter J. Okay. And he's got a big circular belly area, so just sketch a circle inside the character, leaving a space in between the edge of the character and then inside. So it's sort of like a border or a circle within a circle. And then add some fuzzies onto it. Okay. And I'll show you on the reference photo. He's got these little boomerang shaped markings on his chest area. So we can add one here. This one is going to be cut off by the umbrella. And then we can do the rest of them down here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we can fit a tiny one right here. 5. Alright. Also, if you'll notice, he's also surrounded by these little dust sprites. These are called dust sprites. So let's just put a couple of them. We're not going to do all of them, but we could do maybe 3 here. Just put little circles there for now. And then if you have the space, I'll put another one right here. Go in there and draw little eyes, little basic eyes. Let me see if I can get that close so you can see what I did. See? Tiny little eyes inside those circles. Right? When we ink it, we're going to ink it so that it looks like it does on the picture. And I'll try to get up closer on that too. So we're going to give it little fuzzies all the way around. Alright? I'm not going to do any more than that because I think that might just take too much time. But if you have your pencil handy, just put in little eyes and we'll ink in those dust sprites at the end. Alright, let's start inking. You are going to need probably a fine point as well as the ultra fine point. We're going to need that ultra fine point to do those dust sprites. But let's not worry about that just yet. Let's just get the character done first. I always like to ink what's in front of everything else, so let's do this hand first. Do the 3 claws, and then the arm. Remember, ink in the texture. Okay? There's the umbrella handle. And then just be very gentle, be very careful with the line that is going to be the handle of the umbrella, because we want it to be as smooth as possible. There we go. And we might as well ink in the umbrella. Notice I left a little space there because his ear is going to be underneath the umbrella. In fact, let's just ink in the leaf on his head. And that ear, just to get it done and out of the way. Okay. We're going to do the whole body pretty much all the way around except for the toes, because we have to do the toes first. You know what? Let's just get the toes out of the way too. That'll just make things a little bit easier for ourselves. Remember, We want it to be smooth along the head and a subtle fuzzy around the sides of the body and going between the toes. In this case, I'm going to go into this flipper and then back into the body. Okay, let's do this flat nose. We could ink that in black. Okay. All right. Let's do the belly. And those little markings. Okay. Now it's time to do those little dust sprites. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink one and then bring it up to the camera so you can see what I'm doing. I'll give you just a little refresher. That's what it looked like. Alright. Now I'm going to ink it as if it was just a circle and some eyes. Alright. Then I'm going to fill in the circle. Okay, I'm going to fill in the circle, leaving the eyes, and then I'm going to add little, looks like little legs coming out from it. Alright, and that's a finished dust sprite. Go ahead and do that to all the other ones as well. Once you have all of your dust mites done, go ahead and put on his whiskers. They're going to be 3 whiskers of equal length coming out each side in between the eye and the mouth. I'm going to do it with a ultra fine point. There. Okay. Inking looks like it's done. Let's take a little time, erase our original pencil lines. Okay. Very simply, Totoro is usually like a brownish gray. I only have gray today, so we're going to do his whole body gray and his markings gray. Everything else stays the same. Do a little green for the leaf on his head. If you got brown, use brown for the handle of the umbrella. I'm going to use a black watercolor marker for the umbrella itself. And we can use it for the long handle of the umbrella too. Let's clean up my coloring. And there you have it, My Neighbor Totoro. If you haven't seen that movie, highly recommend it. Great movie.